This you're looking at here, I don't have any great introductions, like I see all these videos on YouTube. And we don't have that. I don't know how to do that. But the fact is that what I'm really looking for are people who actually want to learn something about Sod. It's not the only thing we do here at the Tikkun Elevator Kol. I'm going to become more political because I feel like I'm an activist in terms of trying to find ways to gain the favor of the Almighty, to bless our people and to bless my life and bless the people I know. Here, this is the Zohar Matok B'Davash. It has these three different parts. And the part that I decided that I want to focus on because I'm interested in it is Parshas BALAK. BALAK starts talking about witchcraft right away. I'm interested, not that I want to become a witch, chas v'sholom, but because I'm interested in what it seems to have been such a tremendous power. Not in the older world, but today we have atheism is dominating a lot. But these things do exist, especially if you come from, say, like I lived in Miami for over 40 years, and you run into people who are santeros, which is basically witchcraft, are what they call voodoo. The Haitians practice voodoo. Now, exactly, the Cubans call Santeria African Catholicism because they use the names of the saints. And I worked in many people's houses looking at San, I can't try to think of the name of that, whether Santa Barbara was a very big one. The different kinds of displays, they had to try to remember all the different kinds of things that there were. These common people, these are people who are not super sophisticated people, but it's very big in Cuba, a lot of other places. So now I'm going to start reading this Parshas Balak. Balak has a lot in it. And we're going to work on it little by little as best we can to bring in some interest. These are my interests. The Vizini Harshim, the Zohar says like this. The kiss da, and I'll say the lamed at the end, kadmua. V'sefer shekozvim bo mini kishavim, different kinds of witchcraft. It's called the kad si'el hakadmon. I don't know if I'm supposed to pronounce it or what, but it's not a godly name. But this is a power. Shuhu hoyu de'el alos es a mamuna hasholet al kol mini masa kishavim. This is a person that could proud people to become in charge of all different kinds of witchcraft. He knew this process, which is called the Yuduni. So he understood. This is the, let me see, what was his original premise? Let me go back over here. His name was Tzipor. That was the Balak ben Tzipor, the bird. So the bird, the name of the bird is the Yudua, the one that knows, and this is a form of witchcraft. So he really understood it. So he saw in this book written. Remember, we're talking about Balak ben Sipor, the which lashon of a bird. But Sipor do hava avdein le bezimnim yedin. So he was able to fabricate this bird, or make this bird, bring life to this bird. So working with the bird was at specific times. So whatever he was doing, so he's saying it differently. He's saying that it's not just an incidental thing, but it takes some time to work this up. This bird was made out of silver, and which was mixed with gold. Because kesef represents the power of the sun, he says. And zohav is the power of the moon. Now, I'm not sure that I ever saw that before. Kesef is the color silver, and it has a lot to do with many different things. In Kabbalah is the gematria of the milui of the name Akia. The zohav is the power of the moon. So these two powers, the powers of the moon and the powers of the sun, they blend them together in order to be able to get the power from both of them. Behind the Resh of the Chava, that is the head of the bird, was made out of gold. Rosh also Mizahov, they made it out of gold. Connected Kochel the Levada, which is the power of the moon by itself. Puma, the kesef, but the mouth. Piha, they made it out of silver. Connected Koch Hashem's Levada, only for the power, because of the power of the sun, that by itself. So they were separate. Godfoy Meduchushes Kola Ma'ura Bekasva. So he says, Kanfecho, the wings of the bird, were made out of Nechoshes, Kolo Shehu Pasula Shel Zachav Ma'ura Bekesef. So it was called Nechoshes Kolo, which was a mixture of gold, Ma'ura Bekesef, mixture in silver, Keneged Kochos Shnechem, which was able to make them all go together. Gufa, the Dahava, the bottom, once again, was made out of gold. And Gufa also Bazahov. Nakudim, the Nitzutza Beksaf. Menukodas, a Nutza Shalah, so the different feathers of the Nakudas Kasif were made out of different, he says, calls them dots of Kasif. Raglim, the Dahava, the feasts were made out of gold. Raglecha, also Bazahov. Ve'ikr Ma'asero, Na'asa al Yedei, V'shavim, Bapuna, V'shavim, Bapuna, Lishan, the Dahava, Tzipor Yedua. Sheshmo Bepeha, its name which was in its mouth. Lashon Shal Tzipor Haknikros Yedua was the tongue in that mouth of a bird, which is called the Yedua. So that tongue is the Yedua. Now Yedua is Lashon, knowing something. V'zera v'Lashon Chosem B'deberes B'hashpos Koch HaKochavim V'horedes Kocham Lamata. So he says, how is it that they were able to make this bird speak? Because of a shefa, power, an energy that comes from the stars. Now remember that the earth is moving. The earth is moving in a physical way, relative to many other balls that are also moving, while the sun, where we revolve around the sun, that is a whole energy that is an energy that could be used for the universe, as well as the fact that the sun is moving through the constellations. That's the Kochavim. So through all of this, they're able to draw power. V'shavyan lahaki tzipor b'cholon chad v'samim, so they placed this bird by a window. V'samim, that's a tzipa b'cholon echad, a specific window, of poschim kavim l'kabel shimsha. V'yom koya poschim cholon, so in the daytime, they would open up the window, Keneged the Shemes, opposite the sun, Shehu Sholat B'yom, which of course is in charge during the daytime. Kedei lahamshech mekocho b'tzipor, in order to bring, they're able to do this, understand the physical principles, the physics of the fact that the earth is able to continuously move around the sun, all with the other 7 planets. That's the basic Jewish view of astrology, 7 planets. So also all of this energy which is moving in tandem like a set of gears. Now at nighttime, so then they opened up another window where the moon would shine, which is the power of the night, in order to bring that power into the bird. So they had different kinds of saying, cantillations that would say. He says, so he translate. So they would offer incense in front of it. In other words, they would place it in a proper, in a prepared place, and be in its presence, in front of it, they would start offering these incenses, along with different kinds of not lamentations, but cantillations. And from there, they would do the work of witchcraft. So the cantillations that would, the repetition of the different kinds of chants that they would go through, This was the purpose of this. V'yom koyim mashvim, yeah, they would swear, as Hashem sheyita bekocha batzipor, that it should bring its power into the bird. So this whole thing they're working on, this is not something you do in a second. This is something that they did over and over and over again. In the night, they would swear but by the moon. What would they do? They would cause the moon to swear. This is the cantillation that they're doing. This is the mantra that they're doing over and over again. That it should get its power into the bird. So they did this for 7 days, over and over again. So the process of getting the bird to work took 7 days. Mikan lahala, from this point onwards, halku lishna bekashkesha bepumba dahaki tzipora. So after the 7 days, mikan lahala, a lashon mekashkesh b'piat tzipor, it starts moving around and banging around in the mouth of the bird. But it doesn't say anything. So it's just moving inside. In other words, the tongue is moving, but it's not saying anything. So there, what did they did? Menakdim es a lashon b'machat shal zahav. So they would take and make a hole. This is lashon nukuda. Nukuda is a dot. So they make a hole as a lashon b'machat. They take a needle, and they would make a hole in the tongue of this golden tongue. Once they make this hole in the tongue, so it starts speaking tremendously powerful things. So he says, "V'kulo hava yada balak b'tzipado, v'kol yada balak al yada tzipor." So everything that Balak knew came from what this bird told him. Aldo ben tzipor. So this is the reason why Balak is called the son of the bird. V'alkein hu nikra ben tzipor. The fishahoy baki b'chachmas tzipor. He knew every detail of all of the witchcraft that was needed in order to make this bird work. B'kol darkei al yaduni. He knew all the ways of this bird, which is known as the yaduni. So therefore this, that nobody else would know. The people that don't have the ability to be able to see. Now the Matok Mitzvash writes here, the Chaser Khan, that's missing some things here. So as we go through, we're talking about something that was published about from the Ramdal, Rabbi Moshe de Leon. What would be 800 years ago? I'm not sure. 600, 800 years ago. I have to look up the dates of the Ramdal. But anyway, what has been transferred to us is missing a little bit here and there. That's our lesson here in the in Parshas Balak, getting a little view of how witchcraft worked.